Just trying to get this thing muted. There we go. Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another show. Before I get started, I really appreciate everybody stopping in this week for another episode of a Super Podshots. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on E3, more rumors, more things happening. I have a guest with me today. I will announce shortly. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's going to be happening. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to start the intro. We'll begin the show, and let's go on this wild E3 2016. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to talk more about it. So here we go. Hey, Expedition, now rocking with your boy KORX Kal-El, the last on the planet Xbox, and you're listening to Super Podshots. Today, I have my man Joe from Poly Games, who also has a great YouTube channel, which you can look up, called Poly Games, POLIGAMES. And we're going to focus today on a lot of the E3 rumors that have coming out. I've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. First one was Scorpio, which was a big rumor and bomb, and I focused on the fake console war all of a sudden that the fans have been having. It's like, okay, Scorpio is out, the rumor mill is out for that, Neo rumor mill is out for that. All of a sudden, within a week's time span, we have Scorpio and Neo fanboys going at each other on consoles that have not even truly been announced yet, which to me was just completely ironic and funny in itself.
Yeah.
So, I focused on that a bit, and we spoke a little bit about last week's rumors, and I want to reflect on those rumors and how all of a sudden these rumors are starting to seem more and more realistic. So, just to give you guys a heads up, last week I told you guys about this leaked rumor about someone had access to the Microsoft servers. They were looking at some of the tags, and they talked about how Rare may be working on a Battletoads game, and there were going to be two like zombie type titles coming out for Xbox, and they talked about Age of Empires coming back, and they talked about like all these things. And at first, I blew it off. I really did. I blew it off. But then all of a sudden, I'm saying to myself, wait a second, Dead Rising 4 suddenly just came out of nowhere, and now that's supposed to be like exclusively to Xbox and Windows 10 rumored. I'm hearing State of Decay 2 now is the other game that's supposed to be rumored as well. That's 2 zombie games. Now they're talking about Forza Horizon 3 is dropping, and I spoke about how Forza Horizon 3 may have been set in Australia. I don't know, but man, you're starting to look back at it. Maybe it's true. Maybe these games really are starting to fall in place. And that rumor that happened last week is true. So let's look at what's happening this week, what we know, what we don't know, and what we can expect at E3.
So if I could just interject for just a second.
Sure.
And say if Age of Empires is at Microsoft's conference, automatically win for me.
Really?
Age of Empires is my jam. I love that game. That game got me into history, man. Like, because of that game, I'm a history nerd. Oh my God. That game alone, amazing.
Do you play on PC?
I play a bit on PC, yeah.
I haven't played the game yet at all. I'm not an RTS guy.
Okay. See, that's why I'm huge into that.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy because Microsoft is coming out with Halo Wars 2, and as much as I love to support exclusives, I'm not going to just go out and buy a game that I don't play just because I want to support the game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Have you played Halo Wars?
Oh my God. Like when that, I got giddy as like a schoolgirl when they announced that, when I just saw like the faces, like, and it's just like Halo Wars. I lost it. I love Halo Wars. I feel like it's one of the only RTSs that work on a console.
Nice.
Because isn't that big? Like, I don't know how they would make Age of Empires work, because that is strictly mouse and keyboard business.
Right.
Those games excite the shit out of me. And when I hear Phil Spencer talk about this is like a couple months ago, how he's like he wants RTSs to work on the Xbox, that excites me, because that's a genre that could work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they also spoke about how they're going to bring keyboard and mouse to Xbox. So you may not be at a disadvantage if they announce this at E3. I believe there's keyboard support, but there's no mouse support. So there's a big thing where they may add mouse support And if they do that, it may put people in the same ballpark as some of the PC titles that may come to Xbox that really works well with keyboard and mouse. But definitely, if you do drop it on Xbox, you definitely want it to be controller friendly, like a Halo Wars.
And it definitely was. That was a really great game, and it worked so well on the controller. And they could also take a bit from Civilization Revolution 2, which is a really good RTS on the 360 that I played way too much of. Unhealthy amount.
Right.
But, yeah.
So Microsoft, they seem to be all of a sudden. I've been saying a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh my God, Microsoft is so quiet. I don't know what's going to happen. And literally a week before things really pop up, everything comes out. I feel like I've watched E3 already. Because there's just so many rumors. There's so much, so many things that have been announced. It's been crazy. I'm thinking about Dead Rising 4, and the thing with Dead Rising 4, what I'm hearing is that Dead Rising 4 is actually a remake of Dead Rising 1, and that it takes place around the same time with the main character Frank. And it's in the mall, it's around Christmas time, except this time, instead of you just being confined to the mall area itself, you actually get to go outside and you're actually out in the whole entire world. Like you have this big open space that you can drive vehicles and explore and things like that. So it's like Dead Rising 4, but it's Dead Rising 4. I don't know if it's like a remake or maybe it's a continuation going back to the mall. Do you think this type of title is big for Microsoft?
I think it's not that it's big, but it's really important to them. Right. It's really important because I feel like Phil Spencer, all hail Phil here, is really desperate into trying to find that IP that's not just Halo, Gears, and Forza. And Dead Rising is one of those things that it's not the biggest IP, but it's important to the fans.
Yeah.
So like Dead Rising 3 to me, I didn't like it as much because I hated the protagonist. I felt like he was kind of like a whiny little bitch. So like I like how they're going back to the original protagonist. I forget his name, but I like how they're going back to him. And yeah, like I know my friend Henry right now is losing his mind over this because this is like his favorite game.
Right,
it's Dead Rising. So I like what I'm hearing so far. I would hate it if this is not an exclusive. I feel like that would be losing out for them.
It's funny because there were so many fans that were really, really upset that this game was actually going to be maybe Windows 10 Xbox exclusive. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, why are fans upset? Like, Dead Rising couldn't be exclusive to the Xbox platform. And it's nothing against Sony. It's nothing against PlayStation, anything like that. But I kind of hate the fact that people think that install base is the end all be all to every situation. That just because it's, the install base is larger, that it hurts the brand or it hurts the game. Dead Rising has been synonymous with the Xbox from the first game on 360. 2 wind up going multi-plat, but then 3 once again is exclusive, and now 4 seems like it's going to be exclusive. It just seems that it does well with the Xbox install base, and I think the Xbox install base as well loves zombie games.
Yeah, and I like what you said. This install base does not matter that much when you get to the brass tacks. Capcom is getting money from Microsoft to supplement the loss. 20 million units is still 20 million units.
Yep.
And people easily forget that. So look, Uncharted 4 sold 2 million copies in the first week. They have 40 million units out there.
Right.
20 million is still a lot. It's still a big number, and they could still sell a lot of units. For example, Splatoon, right? That console only has 13 million units sold. That game is sold over 6 million units.
Insane.
So install base doesn't matter. It's just people are salty that it's not on their platform.
Yeah. I like the fact that Microsoft was able to secure that IP. And honestly, I think if there is an IP that Microsoft could purchase from Capcom, that would be the game. That would be the game. Very quickly, Channing Pennington asks, "Who is the other person talking?" This is Joe from Poly Games. I've invited Joe on the show I got a chance to listen to his podcast and a few other things, and I was very interested in some of the topics that he talked about, and thought he would be a great guest to come on the 50th episode of Super Podshots before I head out to E3 and get all the great information for you guys. So we're gonna chat some more about E3, new expectations, and things like that as we go into E3 week this weekend. Bethesda. I'm heading to the Bethesda conference on Sunday with the team. We got passes into that. We've been invited, so I'm super excited about that. And, we did a couple of prediction shows, and it seems like one of the predictions, shall I say, is going to be coming true, if the rumor is true, that there is going to be a Skyrim remaster coming out for consoles. And that's a big deal to me because I was a Skyrim fanboy. I mean, to me, first of all, in my opinion, Elder Scrolls is better than Fallout.
Oh, definitely. Definitely not even a conversation. Yeah.
Like my guy Anchorman, who's a part of Tick Podcast and he has his own show, is a huge Fallout fanboy. So for me to say Elder Scrolls is better is blasphemy to his ears. But I tried Fallout. I couldn't get into it, man. For me, it's all about ESO. It's all about not ESO, but it's all about Elder Scrolls. Put it like that. I don't want to say ESO. I did play ESO, but I'm kind of like stuck in that game currently.
I tried it for an hour and I couldn't.
Couldn't? Yeah, no. ESO is definitely different. But I like the universe, but it's definitely different. But yeah, man, I'm excited about it. But at the same time, I've already the thing that makes me upset about some of the backwards compatible games is that, I put like 200 hours into a game, but there was no push for cloud saving. Like you could save the game later on via the cloud, but there was no push. We always had that hard drive within the console that you would save your games on. So I have like 200, 300 hours put into this game. I can't see myself turning around to buy the remaster and put another 203 hours into the game, but it's exciting to know that the game is coming, I guess, in a way.
I think I'm sick or something. Because to me, I'm like, another 200, 300 hours, I can do that. I have purchased that game. Let me tell you, I used to work at GameStop when this game came out. My one, I wasn't excited for it because I played Oblivion as a kid, but I never respected Oblivion for what it was. I was a stupid kid. So it's just like, whatever, I played it, whatever, dragons, who cares? And then my friend's like, no, you have to try it. So reluctantly, I went and I purchased it, and then I couldn't. I was addicted.
Oh my God, it was so addicting.
Xbox 360, PS3, PC, it's an addiction. Even as I have a PC, I can do all the mods to it. I still, this remaster, I'm like, I'll pick this up. It's gonna look nicer. I loved I'm about to say ESO. I love Elder Scrolls and I love Skyrim. I mean, I played Morrowind, I played Oblivion, and those games were great in themselves, but there was something about Skyrim. It was just such a classic title that I just was addicted to it. And in every instance when I play Elder Scrolls, I'm a Khajiit. I just love playing the Khajiit characters and stuff like that. They're awesome. I'm either a Dark Elf or a Khajiit, and I feel the same way. Like, Morrowind was awesome. It was cool. Oblivion had an awesome story, but there's just something about Skyrim that is just unlike anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just, even with its imperfections, its glitches, it's still to me just such like a masterpiece.
Right?
I'm very excited.
I assume that they'll probably also announce the next Elder Scrolls as well, like Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever it is that they're going to be dropping. I would assume so. I think they've done their thing with Fallout. The Fallout mods are out. People are enjoying it. I think their next step is either Elder Scrolls or some new IP, which would be great.
See, this is where I disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do Elder Scrolls. I think everybody's saying that it's like Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls, and I'm just like, I think they're going to stick with the remaster. I think what they're going to talk about is actually Fallout again. Because back a couple months ago, they said this season pass, we're going to raise it up by $10, right? And it's just for these next 3 or 5 expansion packs. And then next year or whatever, there's going to be another season pass. So I think what they're going to talk about is their next big Fallout expansion.
Okay.
And that's what I think they're going to drop. And that's going to be like that. Maybe in like October. I don't see November, because the one thing is, like, if they drop Elder Scrolls or Fallout, you know, they got Dishonored 2 in November. That'll be completely overshadowed by that.
Right.
You know? So I think they're going to definitely have Dishonored, maybe even sneak in, what's that game? Evil Within?
Evil Within. Okay.
With that, but I don't think it's, a lot of people are like, they need to match it. They don't need to match last year's so much so as they just need to keep on making good content. You know?
I agree. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. They just definitely need to keep on making good content, and the fans will flock to them as usual. But this is a great developer and a great publisher company. I just think that you know, they you know, a lot of times when you get their games, they kind of start out laggy. You know, they always have like lag issues, or there's always some type of bug or whatever, but they're quick at getting things fixed and stuff. I just hope that whatever they put out, it comes with mod support, because this mod thing to me is like the future, and people are like, it really brings like new life to games more than DLC, in my opinion. You know, yeah. So,
and having that to like 4 consoles is like something we've never like seen. That's craziness.
Right.
You know, so yeah, mod support definitely needs to be more of a thing. I hope we see more of it too.
Right. So recently we've seen the Watch Dogs 2 trailer. It seems that Watch Dogs is going to be taking place in San Francisco, and it's not as similar to the original Watch Dogs, where you just played like this guy trying to get revenge and things like that. You seem to be a part of some type of tech hacking group, and now they've added parkour to it, and you have like first-person view. It's almost like Watch Dogs meets Mirror's Edge in a way. And I don't know. A lot of people have found this trailer uninteresting and too hippie, like hipsterish and cringeworthy. But I like it. I like the idea of this different change of pace in the game. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I love the internet, because like they see one trailer and they're like, I know what this game is.
Right.
And I saw a trailer, and there's good trailers and there's bad trailers. And it was an okay experience. You know, I like what I'm hearing from the developer more than I'm seeing in the trailer. Like the first Watch Dogs, you know, we didn't have that trailer. It wowed us. It mesmerized us. And then we got the game and we're just like, and this is it.
Right.
You know, so I saw the trailer. I get what people are saying with like how it looks hipsterish, because the characters, it's very Ubisoft. You know, they're French. They're into fashion and all that jazz. I know it sounds weird when I say it, but like they definitely are. Like you look at like Assassin's Creed or any of their other games, like style is very important to them.
Right, that's true. That is.
And so this is, to them, it's another like a fashion piece to them. Right. So, you know, is it my take on like what I think a hacker would look like? No. But what I see is promising. If they focus away from what Watch Dogs was, like they take the idea of what Watch Dogs was and minus all the gunplay, I think that game's gonna be excellent. I like when I hear parkour, I'm like, this is awesome. That means we get to use more of the cell phone feature than actual gunplay. Because I hated in Watch Dogs, you're holding an assault rifle, you're like the Terminator, and you're supposed to be this hacker nerd.
Right.
You know? Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too, man. I like the aspect of getting more techie, in my opinion. You know, the action aspect of it is cool. A lot of times you really don't hack, you know, in Watch Dogs 1. It's more action based, and you use it for like escaping and getting better angles on trying to take enemies out. But this just seems more, you know, tuned to what they were probably going for initially. I'm not a fan of the setting of San Francisco. Only because I don't find San Francisco as an exciting place. I've never been there, so I really can't call it. You know, I think LA would have been more exciting, but I think San Francisco, because of the bridge and the tall skyscrapers and things like that, and like some people say, it's so hippie, like it's such a hipster place. You know, the way San Francisco is so liberal that it just seems like I guess you could say a good setting for the game. So I guess we'll see how that pans out, man.
Yeah. And the one thing too, and like a little spoiler alert, because I'm making a video on this too of how to improve Overwatch. It's in my brain so bad. Watch Dogs is minus like top weapons in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the max you should have is an SMG. You should always have a pistol or an SMG. I feel like if you're always outgunned, that's my preference, because then you have to outthink your enemies with that phone. It makes
I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah.
It makes the phone experience or hacking experience a lot better than having to rely on your gun. It should always be you relying on your wits and your phone rather than what gun you're carrying.
Right. Yeah. I agree. No, I just switched the camera off because I'm watching the video when it seems very like slowed down and stuff like that. So I just
you blew my mind for a second.
Yeah, I just jumped back to the icon because I didn't want the voice to lag behind the video and things. So
I got you.
So Nintendo, something that I don't really talk about the other consoles, but because this is E3 week, we're going to do a little focus on both, just a little taste. Nintendo has done the smart thing and decided to change their E3 format and finally will do a full E3 release show. No longer just will be focused on Zelda. They're actually going to talk about other games and other projects that they have. To me, it's the smartest thing that they could possibly have done.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the most obvious thing.
It really is.
Finally, oh, Nintendo.
I just recently, we just recently acquired a writer for our website named Ryan, who's a big Nintendo guy, very knowledgeable, and I'm very glad to have him on the team. And as a Super Nintendo fanboy, I've been rooting for Nintendo for years, man, trying to get them to get back to what they used to do and get out of this, I guess you could say, this hell of trying to innovate and the innovation taking over more than their own games. It's like we have to put a controller out here that does this, that, and the third, or we have to make the console like this, that, and the third to be special. Just produce a console that's as powerful as the other two, that allows third-party support to keep up, because that's what wound up happening. It's like, okay, you're talking about Scorpio, you talk about Neo, now the NX is supposed to be as powerful as a 360. Now, these new consoles come out with the NX. Guess what happens again? They're not making games for the third-party support is going with the base level of these newer consoles, the Neo and the Scorpio, that is supposedly way more powerful than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And the NX is just as powerful as the Xbox One. Like, what does that put them back in the same position again, power-wise?
Every time I talk about Nintendo, because like if you say, Joseph, describe Nintendo in a sentence, there's just a whole bunch of cursing that follows after. I love Nintendo, and I don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. And trying to guess what they're doing is just, it's aggravating. Because I've been Nintendo since the NES, man. Super Mario World is my jam. The 64 was like GoldenEye. Come on, I played the crap out of the GameCube.
Right.
And then at this point, we get the Wii, and I was actually talking to my brother, my co-host as well, about this. Is I don't think Nintendo knows why the Wii was so successful and why the Wii U failed. And they've never made those assessments that the phenomena of the Wii is what led to the Wii U's failure.
Right.
With all the shovelware, with all the gimmicky stuff, people found out that this Wii was a gimmick. And then Nintendo tried to lie to everybody, saying, no. See, guys, we're the family console. We're the console that innovate. And I'm like, you're the guys that had Doom 64.
Right.
You're not a family console.
Right.
You had Mortal Kombat. One of your exclusives was Resident Evil 4, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You're not family. You don't innovate. You made the Rumble Pack. Congratulations. Like, what we want, what your fans want, is just a rectangle preferably black, with a controller,
Yep.
with 2 analog sticks, no screen because we don't care. We have our phone, and that is it. And
You're
then
right,
some
man.
games.
Yep.
Like, I feel like when I talk about Nintendo, I get on a Trump tangent, and I'm like, build the wall around it. Because like every time, it's just like I see what they do, and I'm just like, I don't know how you make money anymore. I mean, they don't.
It's because you know why? It's because they make all their money off of the handheld, the 3D, the DS, and the consoles are like built not cheaply made fashion, but they're not to the point where they're the most up-to-date specs, the most up-to-date parts. So they kind of make an immediate profit on their console sales. And the console is always so cheaper than the PlayStation and the Xbox. So it kind of allows them to make some profit, but then the install base falls down. You know, their exclusives sell extremely well because that's all they have to sell. Could you imagine a game like Mass Effect coming out at the same time as something like Splatoon? And how many people would have had to make a choice between Mass Effect and Splatoon? You know what I'm saying? That changes the dynamic of everything. I think a lot of people tend to forget that when they talk about Nintendo, like, oh, Nintendo is the best platform. Look how well their exclusive sells. Well, look how well their third party sell because they're non-existent. They have no choice but to sell great because that's what they have. I want Nintendo to give back to what it was like when I was a kid, but also still bring some of the maturity and some of the raw action games they used to have. Nintendo was amazing at Super Nintendo. When I had Super Nintendo, it was amazing to me because there were so many games. It's such diversity during that time. And yes, there wasn't a PlayStation, and yes, there wasn't an Xbox at the time that kind of dominate that adult market. But Nintendo and Sega was the best. They were like the best during that era. And they both competed in the way where they both presented things and different, but the same. But it gave you the opportunity to choose. And I feel like Nintendo has strayed from that and they want to focus on the family console because they think that's what's going to make them get back in the fold. And it's not working. It really isn't.
Yeah, it is so sad to see it. It's like seeing like that really like your best childhood friend and he's like a drug addict. And it's just like, dude, what happened to you? And he's like, cocaine. I'm like, what happened? You used to be so cool. And he's like, cocaine. And for Nintendo, it's the Wii. And that's what happened. And that's I don't know. It's sad to say this, and like I don't say it to like be like one of these people with the pitchforks and whatnot saying burn it down, but
right.
I just don't know what's gonna happen. When I look at 5 years from now, I don't know if Nintendo's there.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. I hope they are. I really do. Yeah. So according to what they're going to be presenting, June 14th, they're going to talk about Zelda. It's going to be a heavy focus around the Legend of Zelda and how that game's going to look, how it's going to play. They're doing something with this. I guess these new things called Me Tomos. I haven't picked it up yet. I know they have some type of app thing where it's very social and interactive, and you get all these type of like.
I tried it for a day.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. But the next day, on June 15th, they continue with their Treehouse Live event, which starts at 10 a.m. Pacific. And they're going to be talking about upcoming Wii U games. Nintendo 3DS includes Monster Hunter Generations from Capcom, Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard anything about it. As well as Pokemon Go developers. They'll have a Q&A. So at least they're attempting to present things besides just Zelda. I mean, you have to be able to show people something else besides Zelda, and I think this is a smart thing for them.
I think it's better than last year when they announced a Metroid game that didn't have Metroid in it or Samus in it. You know,
right.
It's weird. It's still vacant like last year. You know, last year they went with the puppets and they did the whole Star Fox thing.
Right.
And then a tennis game, which I don't. Did the tennis game come out? I have no idea. And then a couple of bad 3DS games. And now this year we got look at mobile games. We got what was it? What was that? The Dragon Quest and Monster Hunter.
Right.
That's cool. No surprises. And I'm really shocked that you have a chance to at least just show people what the NX is.
Mhm.
Like, this is your best chance, and to really wow people, but
Right.
you decided not to. I don't
I don't
know.
know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like if Nintendo, if Sony comes out and they show Neo or a glimpse of something as a new console, and Microsoft comes out and they show the Mini, it really puts Nintendo in the awkward position as being the first one to actually bring up reference of a new console and
Yeah.
then not show it at E3. It's just awkward.
Yeah, it's very awkward. And it's again, another console that is entering mid-generation. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really weird. And like I said again, it's very vacant. There's like, this conference should last no longer than 35 minutes.
it
You know?
really,
Like,
should though.
it's like for North American audiences, there's not too many people that are excited about Dragon Quest for North American audience. Not too many people, except for my friend Dan and his 3 other friends that care about Monster Hunter. I'm sorry, Monster Hunter people. Choke at your expense, but it's not a huge Western game. The only one that really is Pokemon Go and Zelda, which I heard they're gonna have a 90-minute thing just about the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be. I hope it impresses though. Open world Zelda should be impressive. There's a lot of Zelda fans out there. So if they're going to make an impression, that would be the time to do it. Moving on to PlayStation. PlayStation seems to have had some delays. I really felt like Sony, this was going to be the year that they present a holiday lineup that kind of blows people away. And it's funny because they've released Ratchet and Clank, they released Uncharted, and they really had a great opening year. Microsoft released Quantum Break, which I thought was a great game. Did you get a chance to play Quantum Break?
Yes, yeah, a very good start.
Yeah, very good start. I thought it was a really good game, and it's something that they can build on. But for all intents and purposes, Sony has had a great start to the beginning of the year with their couple of games. MLB The Show. I really don't talk about MLB The Show that much because it's like a seasonal thing. Like it's to be expected. It's not something that really wows, but whatever. So they had those 3 titles. But now we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, the game that I was actually interested in picking up a PlayStation 4 for, has been delayed to next year, February. And now Persona 5, another game that I was interested in picking up, has been delayed until, I believe, March of next year. And I mean, obviously, it's not to say that Sony won't announce something that will show that they have other games coming out, but those were 2 big hits. I mean, if people are going to grab about Microsoft pushing back Recore and that being delayed, or Scalebound being delayed, I think those 2 games are just as big, and to me are really could hurt the holiday and could actually make the holiday go back in the favor of Xbox.
That's really interesting. First off, Scalebound looks insane. And when I heard it was getting delayed to early 2017, I got a little bummed.
Right.
Because that is and Record. They're just 2 awesome games. But all aside, Sony is in this weird position, which Blizzard, what are you doing? Which they don't have to really do much anymore. They don't need. I think they think that they don't need a strong holiday showing. That what they're going to do is what they did last year. They're going to have some exclusive deals with some publishers like Call of Duty. They have one for, and whoever else. That'll be their big holiday thing. And when it comes to their exclusives, I feel like it's actually a really smart idea. Is that you put them in an area, a part of the year that usually isn't as dense as the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where they'll do very well. Like, Second Son did pretty good. Bloodborne, which was my game of the year last year. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
Did very well. Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank. Those games really shined and did so well because what is around them?
Right.
Not a whole lot. So then when you get to the holiday season and these games are marked down and they have their little bundles, people go, okay, I'm picking up a PlayStation 4, and like Bloodborne's $20, Ratchet and Clank, holy shit, like $30.
Right.
Uncharted's $40. I heard this is good, and like that's what I think their plan is.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it works in a way, but you're totally right. It's Microsoft has the mind share of the holiday season.
Right.
They're gonna have Gears. I mean, Gears.
Yeah.
And probably Halo Wars and what's the other game? Thinking maybe even Dead Rising.
Dead Rising, yeah,
as well.
Yeah, they have a list. It's crazy. Yeah, Sea of Thieves is another title. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna get deep into some of the Xbox rumors coming up. It's just Sony has Gran Turismo Sport, which a lot of people have either been impressed with or not impressed with. I gave my opinion on it. I felt that after seeing Drive Club graphically, I expected the Gran Turismo guys to really step up and be in that realm, and I was kind of disappointed in it. And I kind of maybe as I don't have a PlayStation. I don't like to judge PlayStation. A lot of people know that. I don't really talk about PlayStation because I don't have one to talk about. But at the same time, seeing things, I can give my opinion on things that I see, things that I watch. And as somebody who loved Forza Horizon 3, I'm not really big into like the motors, like Forza Motorsport. I'm not a big fan of motorsport. Back in the day, I had Gran Turismo, which I thought was a phenomenal game on the PlayStation 2. But I never was really into like those hardcore, genuine, every spec, every line, type of
racers. Your car, your engine this way.
Yeah, I really wasn't into that. I was more of like the Need for Speed guy. Let's buy some parts here, add NOS. Let's fix the rims. Let's fix the,
exactly.
One of those type of things, and let's get out there and race. One of those type of things. So for Gran Turismo to come out and see how it looks, it's not to say this won't be a great game. I'm sure that they'll present their physics and everything the way they normally do it. It'll be another successful game for those guys. But I just expected more, and I was kind of disappointed in that regard.
Yeah, like to me, I don't have too much of an opinion on that on Gran Turismo. The last one I played was on the PlayStation 2. I'm not a racing guy. I'm not a car guy. I have a Toyota. And I just said, this gets me to point A to point B. Right. I like this car. And her name's Bernadette. And so, like, other than Bernadette, I don't know anything else. I'm like, gas mileage good on this car? Like, where's the gas mileage in Gran Turismo? I want to know that.
Right.
But yeah, to me, I actually have to share your sentiment. It didn't look that great, but that doesn't mean just because it doesn't look that great.
Right.
That it's not going to be awesome, because Gran Turismo is known for being amazing. But at the same time, Forza is also a game series that always produces great content.
Yeah.
And fast.
Yeah. Forza has they've been pumping out games left and right. And the last one, the last Forza 6, I think it broke it broke a mil, but it's like 1.2, 1.5 or whatever. It didn't sell as great as some of the old ones, but it still was highly rated. It still was a very successful game. In my opinion, I think they should ease up on some of these games that they're pumping out. Yeah. I don't like the idea of Microsoft doing this Ubisoft thing where we're going to give you Assassin's Creed one year and we'll give you something else the next, and then Assassin's Creed again. It's like, I'm not a fan of that alternate type thing. For me, I like to miss a game. I like to miss a franchise. And when I hear news about another one coming, like, for example, there's news that Sunset Overdrive is going to PC, Windows 10 PC. A lot of people get hype about that. I tend to remind people who get hyped that, oh my God, it's finally coming to PC, that it's coming to Windows 10 PC. Not Windows 7, not Vista, not XP, not
You're
Mac.
Not downloading it on Steam.
Yeah, it's like, people gripe about the exclusives that Xbox had, but people tend to forget that all of the stuff is behind a Windows 10 wall. Yeah. Like, it's not on Steam, it's not on GOG, it's like all the stuff is behind Windows 10 in the Windows Store.
It's all through their marketplace.
It really is. So no matter how you look at it, you're buying Xbox. you're playing Xbox stuff. But at the end of the day, Sunset Overdrive may go to PC. And there's a possibility that if this is successful, that they will produce a Sunset Overdrive 2 that a lot of people are interested in picking up now after playing the first game. And there will be a gap in between that. There is Sunset Overdrive came out in 2014. Was it 2015? Came out in 2015. You had 2016. If 2017 comes, maybe it comes out around the end of 2017, maybe early 2018. To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's actually 14. Overdrive is a phenomenal game.
Right.
Phenomenal. And I was about to use another adjective, but it's phenomenal. And a game that has not sold the way I would like to see it, because it's only sold around 500,000 units. And that saddens me.
No. Sunset has broke a mill.
Oh, did it break a mill?
It broke a mill. Yeah.
Awesome. Because that's a game that should be breaking all the mills. Because that game is the best IP Microsoft has. Okay. And I mean that I love that game so much. It's the best new IP they have, and they need to, really use Insomniac, because they're such a good developer. And when I saw that they stole them away kind of from Sony, I'm like, that is what you do. It, you know? Right. And it was just such a God. There's no game that's even remotely like that game.
Right.
And yeah, I Sunset number 2, I would love that so much. It needs to happen.
Yeah, they need to definitely get them to pump out of Sunset 2, and I hope that happens. And I just think that Microsoft was doing the right thing, the smart thing by using two platforms, 2 of their platforms. A lot of people talk about Microsoft as their own PC, but it's not about PC. Their platform is Windows 10. I think people tend to forget that and tend to disregard it because it's going to PC. Microsoft's platform is Windows 10. Their second platform is Xbox, and they're putting their games on both those behind the Windows 10 device wall. So at the end of the day, regardless, we'll see what happens with that game. But I just think that they need to be able to have a little distance between games, so that way they can be missed and they're not so they're not so alternate years and things like that. So you don't oversaturate the market with these games that people get bored. They don't have that they don't have that factor of, I missed this game, I can't wait to play it again. That build up,
And that's why games like Uncharted do so well, because people miss them.
Yep.
And I'm wondering what Nathan Drake's up to. And then you're like, oh, his story's ending. Why? And then you get intrigued. Right. When you're like, Forza Horizon 18 is out. Wow, what new car did they add? They added Porsches.
Right.
I can't afford those.
That's what happened. It's the same thing that happened with 360. 360, you had Gears, and it was such big gaps between Gears that there was each one so better than the last. It did really well. Even with Halo early on, before they started pumping out ODST and Reach and things like that, and in between, those games always exceeded the last title, because the hype for it built up over 3-4 years, at the time. So hopefully they get back to that.
Halo, they really got to push the brakes on that. They got to really think about what that game is.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Oh.
Sorry, my phone.
No, don't even worry about it. Because Halo 5 was, I'm a huge Halo guy, man, and it's just that game made me sad.
I like Halo 5 though. In my opinion, you did? I did. I didn't have a problem much with the story. I mean, to me, it threw me off because I felt like it didn't. I felt like they should have followed up 4 and continued the story of 4, and I felt like they didn't do that. And it just kind of took me off the path. But I thought the multiplayer, it wasn't as bad as what people made it out to be, and I thought the multiplayer was fun and exciting.
Multiplayer was great. That's actually a story I had huge problems with. Mm-hmm. But when the developers were like, Master Chief doesn't always have to be the main guy, I'm like, this is a Halo 2 situation. This is a Halo 2 situation. And what was it? A Halo 2 situation.
It reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 2. Where it was you started out, you're everybody's hyped up from Metal Gear 1 and you want to play as Snake, and then all of a sudden they give you Raiden and you're like, what? I don't want to play as, where is Snake? And you finally get Snake all the way towards the end of the game. It's you don't play the whole game as Raiden. Come on, man. Nobody wanted to play as Raiden the whole game. Exactly. But I like the Locke character though. I did like Locke. I did like Team Osiris. I just felt I didn't have a big deal or big problem with the game. I just felt to me, if they were going to make it Locke was hunting Chief then the climax should have been Locke versus Chief to me.
Yes,
and they
and
just
that was such a bullshit marketing. Boy, I hated it so much. See, like I don't mind Locke at all. I feel like the writing on him was the downfall. Like, why should I care about this Locke character?
Right.
Like, what makes me care about this guy other than I know that he's gonna be in Jessica Jones? You know, like what makes me? Why should I care about him? Because to me, he was just like, I'm a soldier and I obey the rules.
Right.
Chief, I know everybody's gonna hate us, but you're coming with me. We're following the rules now, and it's just like. You missed an opportunity because Locke, I feel like he could have a great future because the one thing I want to see more of is more, like African American minority leads in video games.
Right.
I feel like he could be someone really good to look up to, and just like more female like main characters would be awesome. And I feel like they just missed it on him so much. So I hope they fix it next one.
Right.
But the Halo community also has to kind of be like, all right, guys, listen, Master Chief is gonna be like Superman at one point.
Right.
We gotta end his arc somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I hope 343 really sits down and goes, okay, what is this?
They need to make a reevaluation on that.
Yeah.
So there's rumors of BioShock collection happening, and that's why we haven't gotten any BioShocks via backwards compatibility just yet, or have we? I'm not even sure. Did we get BC for BioShock yet?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think they were trying to get BC for what was the last one? Infinite. I think Infinite might be BC, but it seems they're coming out with a BioShock collection, which is BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite. I love BioShock 1. I thought BioShock 1 was absolutely amazing.
One of the best games ever made.
One of the best games, clearly. Story-wise, absolutely stunning. Biggest twist, one of the biggest twists in games I've ever played. I didn't play 2. I missed 2, but I did play Infinite. And Infinite was cool. I just, for some apparent reason, when I got towards the end of Infinite, I already figured out the plot. Like, I figured out the plot literally like a good, I don't know, say an hour before I beat the game, realizing who the boy. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, it's like right there. I'm a writer, so I like to write fiction and things like that, and just reading the dialogue and seeing how everything is playing out. I'm like literally just dissecting this game in my head. I'm like, wow, this ending wasn't that surprising. It didn't give me the twist feel that I had in the first one, but it was a really good game.
Yeah.
I think
I'm on the same boat with you on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, like, same, like, one has to be, like, it is, I mean, holy shit. Like, when you're walking in that lighthouse and you see, like, no gods, no kings, only man, and you're like, this game's gonna be amazing. Like, I beat that game in 2 sittings. I remember being, like, up all night playing that game. And the game, which was first action-y, when you're playing it at night, it's just, like, has this horror element to it. It was so great. The twist was amazing. I missed out on 2, which I was gonna play, but my friend's like, yeah, maybe you want to avoid it. And then 3, actually the same thing. I knew going in. I'm like, they do twists. I'm betting my money on this.
Right.
And bam! Like, if I was a betting man, I'd be rich. And that game, it's good. Just they think they're so clever in that game, and it's really not. It's you actually see it coming,
right?
But no, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna be buying this definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. Microsoft is deciding that they are not going to add the DVR feature to the Xbox One anymore. At last year's E3, I think it was E3 or Gamescom, I can't remember which show, they spoke about adding TV DVR and being able to record TV episodes through the Xbox One and saving those things onto your console. Now they've decided that they are not going to do it. And because of that, I think it just really goes back to what Microsoft was trying to get back to, a focus on gaming. I said this before, The console, Xbox One, and the Vision was Balmer Dimetric. The games that released were Balmer Dimetric. If you look at the Scorpio, when that console comes out, because I absolutely believe it's true, and I've said this before, you guys know I've spoken about who I've spoken to about new consoles and things like that with Microsoft. When that console comes out, this console will be the Phil Spencer Satya Nadella console. This will be their vision of a unified Xbox Windows 10 platform. And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if this console not only plays Xbox games, but PC games as well. Just making it to the point to where you don't just have Xbox on PC, but you have PC on the Xbox. And I think, to me, that is the smartest way they could do it, because you look at it from the perspective that Microsoft is putting a lot of their exclusives on the PC platform. And for console gamers, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal because you're a console gamer. You're going to buy the console regardless. But you lose the PC gamers who would have bought your console for those exclusives. And then in turn, what winds up happening is that in fairness, in my opinion, you then take the ability to play some of these PC games that you wouldn't ordinarily get on the Xbox, because you would have to wait for some type of port or something like that, and just allow those games to be played on the console as well, because it's all through Windows, and Windows 10 adoption is being taken over, like it's becoming such a big thing, and DX12 as the universal API for so many PC games. It just fits, So yeah. I really think that this is the vision that they plan to do, and it's going to be crazy. But there will be no more TV DVR, and I don't think anybody will care.
No, I think this is the nail in the coffin to the what you said, the Balmer and the Matric Xbox. I think this is the beginning of Phil Spencer's Xbox.
Yep.
We were talking a little bit beforehand about the Xbox, and I was saying how much I love Phil Spencer, because he was, this console isn't his. He adopted it,
right?
And he's trying to be the best dad he could possibly be to this thing,
right? While
he's trying to make another one to really, what he's done with this brand is really plugged up all the holes, took out all the water, and it's a ship, and it's finally floating, it's finally sailing. And I think you're totally right. The Scorpio is going to be, now this is my vision.
Right.
And what his vision is a Windows 10 unification of Xbox.
Yep.
And he really thinks that, it is something like a Steam Machine future.
Yeah.
But with Windows.
With Windows, yep.
And that's what their competition really is at the end of the day. So I totally agree with you right here. Yeah, Scorpio is his baby.
Yeah, this is baby. And like you said, a lot of people like, oh, look at Steam machines, they failed. But I think what people tend to forget is that Xbox is an established brand. It's an established brand with its established exclusives and an established install base. So pumping out a machine that's similar to Steam machines in a way where you're able to play PC titles as well as Xbox exclusives would have massive appeal to console gamers.
And not just that, appeal. It's also an established OS.
It's an established OS as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So you're dealing with things that it already has all the support to it.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that the Steam machines didn't. The whole Linux-based operating system really did set Steam machines back. And so when you're looking at this thing's already going to have support, on the Windows 10 operating system. This could only mean good things for the Microsoft division or Xbox division as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a big move for them. I can't wait to learn more about the Scorpio. I'll definitely try to see if I can get some info on that. I doubt they'll give me any, but when I try to get these behind the scene interviews with these guys, I will see if I can get some type of hint out to bring back to the podcast and give you guys a heads up. Scalebound, my most anticipated game, seems to have some type of rumor of a leaked release date. We all know that Scalebound looked good when we first saw it. Some people felt like There was still a lot of work to be done, and that was clearly evident at last year's Gamescom. But I think that they're doing a solid job on the game. You guys remember when I had Ken Lobb on the show when he had mentioned that this game could be one of the greats of all time. And when you have a guy like Ken Lobb who literally is everyone's childhood hero in a way, because every game that you've played as a kid, this man worked on. If he gives an opinion, and don't get me wrong, yes, he's an Xbox person, but I don't think that he would hype something to the point of it being a GOAT of all, you know what I mean? Like a greatest of all time type game if he really didn't truly feel it. So I'm excited for the game. I'm really hyped for it. I can't wait to get more info on it. I'm definitely going to be hitting the guys up over there at E3 to definitely get exclusive content and exclusive interviews with them for Scalebound. But they're saying that it is supposed to release March 31st, 2017. Now, normally you don't have a game release on the 31st, but what I will take with that as a grain of salt, and what I think that means is that it's going to release within the first quarter of 2017.
Definitely.
And I think, to me, that is the smartest thing they could do. I felt that Quantum Break releasing in April was smart as well. Unfortunately, I think the reviews really died down the hype for it. And people looking at the polarizing, 1 minute is a 10, the next minute is a 4. And a lot of people backed off from the game, are probably just waiting for it to hit bargain bin prices or something like that. Yeah. But I think if Scalebound comes out and Scalebound has high reviews, the game does extremely well, launching in the first quarter would be perfect, because there's nothing really happening in the first quarter. You have a big AAA exclusive releasing. Not only that, it will be releasing with no major competition, and also an action RPG, which is something that the Xbox direly needs. So I am super excited for it, and I think that's what will happen.
Not to mention, if this thing is as good as it looks and says, this could be a start for the Xbox to make ground in Japan. You know, and it's I'm very excited for this game. I think it looks amazing, and I really do think what you're saying is correct. This is just a placeholder date. We're going to get a real one down the line. And what you said about Quantum Break, definitely agree. The scores held it back. The one thing about that game, though, is just the TV functionality, man. That's why, like, when I rated it, I'm like, this is a great start. This is like a 7.58. This is a good start. Where the sequel is going to go, right. I think the Quantum Break sequel is going to be like the Assassin's Creed 2. I think only good things could come out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel the same way. I look at it like how they did Uncharted 1. Like, Uncharted 1 wasn't the type of game that made a lot of noise like the way Uncharted 2 did. You know what I'm saying? I think that Uncharted 1 was a really good game, but it wasn't something that was like groundbreaking or blowing people away. But Uncharted 2 just really lit the world on fire. Yeah. I think they have an opportunity to fix what people maybe didn't like with the first game and the second game. So Microsoft,
take that TV shit out.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to gripe about the TV stuff. I enjoyed it myself, but everybody's different, I guess.
Yeah, everybody, different strokes for different folks. Yeah, and definitely with Uncharted, because Uncharted 1 is very bland.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty basic.
It's definitely no Quantum Break, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. But Scalebound definitely has an opportunity to maybe make some noise. I just hope that it sells successfully and people support the games. I think Xbox gamers definitely need to support the games that come out. I think that's one of the big gripes. You have an install base of 20 plus million gamers, and games aren't selling the way they did on 360. I think a lot of fans are very nitpicky this generation. And it's not like how it was last gen. And that goes for PlayStation as well. If you look at a lot of the titles, you would expect those games to really sell a lot more with the install base, and they just haven't gone the way, maybe like a Halo or Uncharted 2 or God of War, where you're hitting 6, 7, 8 million on a game. These games are hitting like 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, 5 at the most as an exclusive, and you're just not getting that pull that you're used to. I don't know what's changed. Maybe guys have moved over to PC, but it's definitely different this generation.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the economy. It definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
People are like their wallets are strapped. And they're like, I got 3 games I could buy this year. Let's do this. Is
Right.
what I keep telling myself, at least. But yeah, no, you're totally right.
Yeah. So finishing up, we're looking at Microsoft's lineup for E3 based on the rumors and based on some of the things that I've been hearing. Now, this is the roundup, okay? This is what they may possibly be presenting at E3. And what I want people to understand about Microsoft is that the same that they did last year, I believe, is exactly what they'll do this year. They will show the majority of the games that they're going to release in 2016. And then at Gamescom, they will show you the future. And you may not get that wow factor that people want. Obviously, if they show the console, the Xbox Mini, people will be wowed by that. If they show any new features, which I just read some crazy stuff recently that I don't want to talk about because I think it's too far fetched. But I read some crazy stuff about emulation. If they announce that, that would be absolutely insane. But just looking at their games and what they may present this year in 2016, and then to turn around and then have new hardware in August. And then if they show things at Gamescom, they can have a great summer. They can really have a great summer if everything lines up right. So basically, the roundup is saying that they will present Dead Rising 4, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, Halo Wars 2, Gears of War 4, Scalebound, Sea of Thieves, Recore, and Forza Horizon 3. And the new rumor for Forza Horizon 3 isn't that it takes place in Australia, but that it will be similar to The Crew, where it's city-based. You're going from city to city. Yeah, like you're going from one major city to another major city, and you're able, maybe like a shrunken down East Coast of like, let me say something like that. So maybe you go from New York to Chicago to Atlanta or something like that, and it's just kind of like shrunken down in a way where you're able to do that. So, I mean, that's a rumor. I have no idea what's going to be presented for Forza Horizon 3, but that's what they're saying. And then there's 2 rumors with Rare coming from Shinobi, which, if people listen to Shinobi out there, if you're a fan of him or you take a lot of the things that he says to heart, then you'll like what he has to say. That Rare is now Microsoft's new IP factory, and while all the other studios that they have are working on sequels, Rare is actually pumping out all of their new IP. So they're supposed to have Sea of Thieves, Battletoads, and another new IP.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
When did Microsoft buy out Rare?
Oh, this was a long time ago. This was like 2000, like 2000 and
2004.
No, yeah, it might have been like 2002, 2003. The Rare story was crazy. I tried to get Craig Duncan on the show to talk about it. It was a bidding war between Microsoft and Activision.
Yeah, I could see that.
That was insane. Sure. And Activision actually won, but something happened and it didn't go through, and Microsoft outbidded them and they won.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
And it took them 12 years to get this.
It took them 12 years. Well, they come out with Cameo and they had a few other titles early on, but it just didn't, I think that a lot of people liked Cameo. Rare just started working on this Connect crap, man, and it just made it just go downhill,
I mean, Connect Sports was great.
Connect Sports was great.
And everything else was shit, but like it was it was good. This is awesome news, man. Like seeing Rare, which is like, if you grew up in the 90s, they were like the Naughty Dog. They were like the guys that make the games, Right. They would be like Rockstar today. And seeing them finally, like it's all hell Phil here. This is Phil. This is him doing his magic. Because he's like, guys, you make great games. Let's do this. I hope there are other IP. And I pray to God every day, every night, I kneel at bed, and I'm like, please, just give me a Banjo game. But not Nuts and Bolts. Give me a Banjo game. If that next IP like that they're hiding away is a Banjo game, oh my God, that's amazing.
That would be big. I think a lot of people will be interested in that, a new Banjo game. But I'm hearing it's a new IP. I'm
Okay.
hearing that it's a new IP. I think Battletoads is the remastered game because Phil has been wearing a Battletoads shirt for years at this
Mhm.
point. I've been seeing him
Just
with
teasing
Battletoads
us.
just teasing everybody. So it seems like Battletoads may be true. And maybe it may not be coming from Rare, but it was outsourced, kind of like Killer Instinct in a
Okay.
way. Obviously they've been having a big concentration on Sea of Thieves, but the studio is large enough, I'm hearing, to split off and do another project, and I'm hearing that they do have another new IP to present. We'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Rare has to do. They can be an amazing studio. They still have a lot of people who was from the original team. They still have one of their brothers there, one of the male's brothers
Mhm.
still works for Rare. He's working on Sea of Thieves. They've outsourced the guy who did Conker's voice. He's been doing Conker's voice, and some of the other things. So Microsoft has all their ducks in a row when it comes to Rare. I just really hope that the talent presents some really great quality stuff. I'm already impressed with Sea of Thieves. If the images and the video that they shown is anything to go by, I think Sea of Thieves is going to be something special. As long as that game has plenty of content. You have two examples of games that started out strong and faltered in Destiny and The Division because of
Yeah.
content. So if you're going to present a game similar in that fashion, where it's like a 4-player open world, like MMO, but not MMO type game, then you need to be able to make sure that you have so much content that is overwhelming, and the DLC constantly comes out.
Yes. Yes. I mean that is I think Bungie and Massive definitely underestimated how loyal and how passionate some of the gamers are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's not enough content in those games.
Yeah.
Definitely with the Division. Definitely with. I took my time with the Division and I beat it in a month. And I platinumed it and I was just like, okay, and I'm done. And now where do I go? Destiny. I I have it on the PS4 and I have it on the Xbox One. I have all these guys that are maxed out.
Right.
Where do I go?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
it's too easy to level in that game. And the raids are way too easy in that game.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be more content. There needs to be some type of instancing or like dungeons that you go into to get up to that raid. And for them to actually maybe be a little bit innovative and change it up, that you're not just fighting the same guys every single time in these dungeons. It's a hard feat to do, and I don't think anybody has cracked that code yet. And yeah, I'm interested to see Sea of Thieves. Before I was like, whatever, but now hearing more and more about it, I'm like, this could work actually.
Yeah, it definitely could work. I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. And just finishing up the rest of the thing, they're saying that Forza Horizon 3 will be on PC as well, PC 2, going Windows 10, and it's going to be set in the Southern Hemisphere, which maybe falls in line with the Australia thing once again. Well, Southern Hemisphere, maybe a little bit lower, who knows? Besides that, and then they said that Microsoft will be presenting new Xbox One hardware with an internal power supply. Finally, an internal power supply, which sounds like the Xbox Mini, and that makes sense. I feel like the console is more compact, is small enough where you're able to cool it to the point to where you can put the battery pack inside the internal power supply inside the machine, and all you have to do is plug it up from the box. Like, it would be so dope if the Xbox Mini looked like a GameCube. I swear I would be I'd be like, oh my god, this is the cutest box ever.
Yeah, because that's the one problem with the Xbox, and I said in one of my videos, I'm like, they need to ditch this laser disc looking thing,
right?
And it's huge with the power brick as well. It's just like, my god, come on, guys! Like, Sony made a console. Sure, it sounds like a goddamn jet, but it's slimmer. It has it inside. Why can't you just plop it in there? Like,
Microsoft was definitely scared of the red ring of death.
Definitely.
They were definitely scared of the red ring of death.
In its design.
In its design, yeah. You can definitely see it. I think that they have better, because look, a lot of guys left. A lot of the technicians and the engineers from the Xbox One was no longer there. They've got a new team in. They've hired new people. They have oh man, what is his name? I always forget his name. The guy who makes Surface. the designer for Surface, he is
Yes.
now the new designer for Xbox, all
Okay.
Xboxes and stuff like that. So he's more than likely designed it to the point to where, you know, the way it looks and the way everything fits inside the box, you know, works out perfectly. And they're not worried about overheating anymore. You know, that the parts are smaller, they're cheaper, they're easier to cool, and putting an internal brick or internal power source inside the box makes sense. I think this box is going to be great. They're talking about it has 4K streaming, not 4K gaming, but maybe 4K streaming. Maybe it does 4K upres, whereas the Scorpio is actually 4K native. And that's supposed to be a big focus on it and things like that. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see all of this next week. We're only like 4 days away, 4 or 5 days away.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And you know, like we were talking before the podcast, this Microsoft's conferences every year since the release of Xbox One keeps on getting better, and even more unpredictable. So like I could predict what Sony, what, you know, even like Ubisoft 2K is gonna do.
Right.
You know, even for all this rumor and speculation, I know that there is something up Microsoft's sleeves. It's mysterious.
Right.
I like that a lot. That's why I feel like who has the most to gain? Microsoft out of this whole E3 experience. And that's coming from a guy that owns all three. I don't care about everybody. I just want everybody to play their games and enjoy them.
Right.
I feel like Microsoft has the most to gain.
Right.
You know, last year everybody freaked out about backwards compatibility in a controller. Now you're gonna give them a redesign of a console and like rare IP.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, that is gonna be huge. So I'm really wondering what the reaction is of this is gonna be, because it's exhilarating. I'm
hyped, man. I'm definitely hyped, man. I'm definitely excited. I can't wait to find out what is happening at this conference. I leave on Friday. And my understanding is that Friday we get there, it's just going to be a dead day for us. Saturday, the line is going to be set up for FanFest. I have to contact these guys to see if I actually have to stand in line for FanFest, because I already have badges into the conference. And I think at FanFest, it's like the first 500 people that gets in, they get like all this cool stuff and everything. I just want to get in there because a lot of the gear that I really just want to give away to my fan base. You know, right. I just want to do giveaways. I want to give these guys T-shirts and backpacks and pins, and you know, I'm just gonna get as much swag from E3 and then get all this stuff and just do giveaways to all the fans out there. Yeah, no, I love my fan. My fan base is the best. They're awesome. Yeah. They're so awesome. Love those guys.
I love my fan base because they tolerate my voice and my face. So it's like it's really, you can't get anything better than that.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we're going to finish up, man. That's pretty much what's been happening out there. We know Nintendo is now decided to revamp and change the way they're going to do things. Sony clearly is going to be announcing a ton of games, whether they're indie, whether they're AAA, we don't know. They've had some delays, so I'm pretty sure they'll have some things to replace it. I look forward to it. And to me, Microsoft coming into the game late with news about Scorpio and the mini Xbox have really generated such buzz, such hype for their conference. They really have to go into this and present what we can play this year, and what we can expect, at least maybe one or two things in the future. And if they can wow us with one game, just one game, I think they set it off. I really think they do it big. I mean, it doesn't have to be KOTOR 3. I mean, God, that is a dream.
Oh.
That is such a dream for it to happen. If they could just fund KOTOR 3 with BioWare and EA, I just don't see why they can't do it. They have such a great relationship with EA. But man, you know, I just really think that if they're able to pull that off, it would be absolutely amazing if they were able to do that. But they need to be able to wow us with something nostalgic. You know, it could be Conquer, it could be Banjo, it could be Mech Assault, it could be Crimson, it could be anything from back in the day.
We're out of here.
Yeah, man. It could be anything from their old portfolio, but they need to be able to bring something back as a remake or a reboot, besides Phantom Dust, and just really wow us. You know, like, oh my God, I can't believe everybody's excited, they're hyped for it. I mean, KOTOR 3 or Jade Empire to me is top of my list. Obviously, if I could have any game, it would be Chrono Trigger, because I'm a Chrono Trigger fanboy, and there's been rumors that the creator of Chrono Trigger is interested in a Chrono Trigger remake. No matter what console that comes out for, I'm buying that console. I don't care. because I'm really that much of a Chrono Trigger fanboy. But but we'll see, man. We'll see what happens and stuff like that. So, as always, that's it for our show. I usually end my shows with a, after party type thing where we do questions and we ask the fans questions and things like that. I will make it a short question show today. Obviously, I don't want to keep my man Polly. I'm about to say Polly. I want to keep my man I want to keep my man Joe on here for too much longer. So we'll finish up. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and get ready to set those questions up. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. And I will see you guys next week when I get back on Tick Podcast that Friday, because I'll be back Thursday to reflect on E3 2016 and 2016, all we experienced, as well as a new Tick experience for 2016. So you guys keep it locked. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show for the MP3 guys out there, and you guys get the show ready. So again, there will be no shows next week from Tick Podcast. I believe Writer's Block Podcast may have something on Monday. There will be no Super Podshots, no Tick Podcast, no Super Podshots next week. You might get a Tick United on, I'm not sure, but mostly from the Tick team, the original Tick team, we won't have anything until next week's Tick Podcast on Friday. And again, check out our channel. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes, Apple. I said iTunes, Apple. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Google Play, Android. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us pretty much anywhere. If you Google us and you Google the MP3, if you want the MP3 version, which is much cleaner than the YouTube live version, you can go ahead and sign up to that. We have a great following in that space, and we've been doing very, very well in mobile. So I'm really appreciative of everybody that supports us mobile worldwide, which is really awesome. And again, I am going to do my best to upload videos while I'm at LA to the YouTube channel so you guys can see the events and everything that we're experiencing. But if you go to Facebook and you get into the Inner Circle Gaming group, I will be doing Facebook Live. So every conference I go to, I will be doing Facebook Live from that conference. I'll try to get some reactions in. I'll show us walking in. If I meet people, I see people, I'll try to get Facebook Live on that as well. So definitely look up the Facebook group, the Inner Circle Gaming, join it. Hang out with us. That thing is going to be for tournaments. We're going to be doing rewards, meeting new people, all types of stuff. Definitely go ahead and join that while you can. And that's it for our show this week. I'm your host, K-War S. Kal-El, with my boy Joe from Poly Games. Make sure you check out his channel on YouTube.
Thank you, guys.
And we are off this planet. Peace.
Woo.
Cool. So that was it. That's how our show usually ends. And then after that, I usually do the editing, cut off this area of the show as we get a chance to interact with the fans. So we'll just answer a few questions and then we'll head on out. First question, Thomas White asks, what unlikely announcement would surprise you the most? And what missing announcement would disappoint you the most?
Okay. You want me to answer that, or you want to go?
Go ahead, brother.
What unlikely announcement would surprise me the most? That's a really great question, and because E3 usually gets spoiled a little bit, right? Like as we get closer and closer to it. So I would just like something completely new to blow my mind. I know that's a safe answer, but I would say Red Dead 2, but we know that that's gonna probably be announced.
Right.
You know,
right.
I would say a Skyrim remaster, but we know that's going to be coming out.
Right.
The most unlikely announcement, I would say that, and here you go. I know this is an Xbox podcast, but the Last Guardian to be coming out this year would be the most unlikely one. That would surprise me the most. What missing announcement would disappoint me the most? Let's see. I don't know. I guess I gotta experience myself. I don't know if they don't announce the Scorpio. That would disappoint me the most.
Gotcha. I mean, for me, most unlikely announcement that would surprise me, would probably be like some type of emulation of another console. Like if they did Dreamcast, BC, okay. that would blow me away.
Yeah.
something I said earlier that I recently read was that, and again, this is just a rumor and this is unfounded. There's nothing to it. That there's some type of Game Boy Advance backwards compatibility coming to Xbox One.
That would be crazy.
That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. I mean, just to have some of those cool sprite games. I was a big fan of Golden Sun. Oh my god, I love Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance. Such an awesome game. That would be absolutely amazing if that was to happen. But I mean, I highly doubt it. I don't think it would happen. And what missing announcement would disappoint me the most? I think, oh man, the most I don't expect Scorpio to be at E3. I think it will be a big focus on the Xbox Mini. I expect them to really try to push the Mini. It's supposed to come out in August. It's rumored to come out in August. So that way guys can have that console for the holiday, and they'll be able to bundle that with a whole bunch of stuff, towards Black Friday and things like that. But I think the most disappointing thing, if they don't announce it, would probably have to be, it would have to probably be, let me think. It would have to be like, I don't know, man. I'm really struggling to find anything, I tell you what, I think the most disappointing thing that I think would probably disappoint me is if they did not get Red Dead Redemption marketing rights.
Yeah.
Because they have Red Dead as a BC title. And to me, that with them having marketing rights for the game would be big. And them not having it, to me, would be a kind of a disappointment.
That's why I definitely think with one of the rumors I was hearing that they're going to have some type of exclusive remaster.
Right.
I think it's definitely leaning on the Red Dead side of things.
Right.
Either way, if that game was going to be remastered on both, I'm getting it for the one. But yeah, I mean, yeah. If they didn't get the marketing deals, that would disappoint me greatly.
Right. R2C25 asks, how are yours, I guess you could say, going to cover E3? How are you going to cover E3 live or sporadic videos throughout the day? Well, here's the thing. It's going to be tough because when you go into the convention center, you have literally no internet whatsoever. Like, there's no internet unless you're with like a mega company, and because we're a smaller company, I won't say company, but we're a smaller website and a smaller media outlet. We don't have that type of equipment to pump out videos while we're there and stuff like that. So what's going to wind up happening is I'll probably collect all the footage during the day. Once the show is over, I will come home, go back to the hotel and upload.
Yeah.
The best way I can. Hopefully the internet that we have there isn't too terrible and I'm able to upload the content broken up. It'll probably be, I'll try to get smaller pieces to upload quicker, because putting everything together in one large chunk will just take forever. I don't know how fast we'll upload. It depends on what their services is, but trying to get things out during the day will be tough. What I will be able to do though is get news information out quickly. Any information I get from behind the scenes, any interviews that I do that I'll be able to write down, I'll be able to get that to the team, and the team will be able to write that stuff up on the website ticgn.com, on our website, and you'll be able to check out that stuff there. When I'm outside, as I'm going to these different events, I'll do the Facebook Live stuff, or if I'm able to get YouTube Hangouts, Google Hangouts going on my phone, I'll do a Google Hangout shoot on whatever location I'm in if I have the service. If I'm able to get service in E3 with my phone, then I'll do Google Hangouts from there as well. But again, I'll have the GoPro on again this year. I'll be doing a tech experience. I'll try to cut it down from last year's show where I had like 3 hours worth of E3 footage all over the place. I'll try to cut it down some and give you guys a good look at what E3 is like this year, where you can experience it for yourself.
Yeah, I don't. That's where I don't feel like too jealous of that part of it,
right?
Because the horror stories that are E3 is ridiculous. Like, you don't sleep.
Right.
And, how I'll be covering it is through a lot of crying, but But yeah, no, it's gonna be great. And you know, like I started my podcast last year before I even started a YouTube channel, and this week is always really good for the websites like ours because the traffic flow is insane. So I'm really excited this year that now that I have an idea of what I'm doing,
Right.
that this year's gonna be a whole lot of fun. So like how I'm gonna do it is a whole lot of uh, after every conference, I'll be making a video of it, and those are going to be unedited just because of the simple fact of there's so many conferences this year,
Right.
and then news stories throughout the week as usual. So that's how I would be doing it.
Yeah, I'll probably do an evaluation after each con. I'll probably do a show as well if the Hangouts works properly with whatever the hotel internet is. I'll probably do a show with the team live from our hotel, and we'll talk about what we experienced on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and things like that. We're not staying for the third day because we have media badges this year, and because we have media badges, we don't have to hustle. We can things come to us a lot easier. Like you have no idea how what these badges allow you to do. It's like insane. So it's pretty dope. So I'm excited about it, definitely. R2C25 asks, Ken, you asked Phil about some OG Xbox games like Crimson Skies, Kung Fu Chaos, and Tao Fang. Sure, man. I'll definitely, when I get a chance to chat with him, I will definitely set up something where we can try to reflect. I'll definitely try to do. I'm going to see if I can request for Phil to do a Q&A with us on the Xbox conference, and then try to set up something when we get back for another Tick special with Phil. I tried to get Phil back on last year, but it's become a lot harder compared to when we had him on the first time, because when we had him on the first time, he was just getting into the role of being being the boss of Xbox. Now he is the boss of Xbox, and his time is very hard to get him. So, but I would definitely reach out and see if I can get him on the show after E3 and maybe set something up sometime in August or something like that, if that's possible. Thomas White asks, do you think Nintendo will drop anything or stick to what they have already announced? Well, according to what we spoke about today, it doesn't seem like they have anything major, any bombs. But I think the best thing they can do, man, is just show us what they have planned for the future and what we can get on NX. If they're not going to show NX, which I don't know why they're not showing NX at all, if they're not going to show NX, the best thing they can do is show us what we can expect from the console and what graphically it may look like.
Yeah. They can't drop anything, they don't have anything to drop. So, they're kind of in a rock and a hard place this year, and it doesn't look good for them this year. I wonder where they're going to announce the NX, because if it's at the Tokyo Game Show, that is just the worst place to do it. Because I know around September a few years ago, that's when they announced the Wii U pricing and everything, and I thought that was silly because at E3 you have everyone looking,
right?
And so when you're just like not there, you're in your little fucking treehouse. Sorry for a curse, but you're in your treehouse. Nobody's gonna really care. So if they drop anything, it would be silly. They need to stick to Zelda and stick to the 90-minute gameplay. But yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a solid question. Cool. So if that's all the questions we have for today, I will give you guys at least a minute to put something up. And we'll see what we can come up with. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. We, checking out my 50th episode, and definitely, just rocking with us consistently over the last 2 years, man. Very grateful for all the support and things like that, as well as the guys out there who support us in the MP3 space. And definitely all the people out there that support us on TICGN.com. As I said before, without you guys, we wouldn't able to get where we are and be able to have media passes and things like that. We've come a long way, and I'm very grateful and very thankful for all the support that we've received, and things like that. So I want to thank my man Joe for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a very, very fun. I love to get guys on the show to talk about things here and there, and not just sometimes it's always great to talk about Xbox, but sometimes it's always great to talk about other things too, just to switch it up. I love being able to switch it up and talk about other things here and there. But as an Xbox show, I don't want to say an Xbox channel because we're well more rounded now than we used to be as a channel. But as an Xbox show, it's not difficult to talk about Xbox, but if there's no news, it can be tough.
Oh, yeah.
But Microsoft has had a ton of news come out over the last 3 weeks, and I'm very excited for what they have to show. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, as a content creator, it is so hard to think of something when there's no news out.
Yeah.
Like, so Sony's favorite color is pink. Why? That's in the industry. It's hard.
It could definitely be tough.
But yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's always great to talk about games. That is my life goal, is to talk about games.
Yeah, man, it's fun, man. I love doing it. I love the fan base, and I love doing it for them. So that's it for our show this week. Again, we'll be back next week, Friday, with Tick Podcast, reflecting on E3, all of our experiences. And you guys will get a chance to see these things and hear these things over the course of next week. I want to thank everybody for stopping out. Once again, thanks, Joe. Make sure you go check out his channel, Polygames, Poligames, and give him a subscribe and definitely support my good man here. And that's it, man. We'll be back, and keep it locked here on Tick Podcast. We'll definitely try to provide you with the best content coming out of E3 and the best experience possible.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I'm your host, KORS Keller, the last son of planet Xbox, and I'm off this planet. Peace.